player hit the gritty while doing their entrance. What an entrance by Nas with a hood over his head. But first, let's talk about TNC Pro Team. Innocent, King Kong, Goyo, Hesu, and Ben Things.
Yeah, we're seeing the same Phoenix lineup that might rise today because we've seen how they completely had a point up against Blackness International. With the mix that they're trying to brew here, I think they can slowly have answers on how to gain a point against RSG Philippines.
Again, a keyword here for TNC is that they are able to get those leads in the early game, but they have to convert that in late game. And I feel like it has to come down to the cores here. King Kong, Hesu, and Innocent, they have to make sure that they are able to play the late game.
And RSG Philippines, we saw their performance against Barangay Omega yesterday. By the way, if you missed that game number 1, Eman got an MVP performance because why? Well, he split push, bringing us back to the M4 World Championship. When Echo did that in the world stage, Eman and RSG made that look easy.
Yep, RSG again, it feels like the reassembling of the task force RSG. Very heavy on objective takes. But one thing is for certain, you'd have to look at light. The power of initiation comes from the roamer on the side of RSG, and the Raiders can only do so much in early to mid. But again, these plays have always been amazing from light.
Yeah, we saw back-to-back Yuzhong games by Nas yesterday on the other hand. So alongside Light's entries, Nas has been very understanding of his role here when he's up against teams. Just dive. Just hook them. That's what you're good at.
That's changed with RSG. You know, like Light, week 1, week 2, he was the kind of the main raider for RSG. Game 1, Yuzhong, it feels like Nuts. He was getting some getting some memories from his old days using the hero. Game number 2, however, was a different story. It was all Nuts against the opponents, and I feel like that is gonna come into factor here. That is gonna come into play against TNC because again, RSG likes those objectives, and Yuzhong is king of turtles and lords.
Yeah, I'm so good to be back here in the table, and we saw Yuzhong today. But just by looking at the stats of TNC and RSG, something similar is the front and the startup of their own composition boils down to the first blood ratio and kill participation. It's similar in a way that they could actually have a way of having a good success hero for either for the EXP lane or their jungler, which is Iran, that we are trying to figure out how will they set up this player for success.
All right, so OSX, someone who used to love playing the roam a lot before, would you stand toe-to-toe against RSG if you're TNC? Would you match your aggression, or will you try to be a little bit more cautious? How would you approach this?
With this kind of situation that TNC has right now, I could say I need to go back and forth and be more aggressive in a way that you have a way to even force and block the momentum of how RSG works. Because if we're talking about RSG Philippines, they can actually start their own lineup with having a great success in their own first minute to 3. So if you have a way to slow things down a bit for if you are TNC, I think that's a good way to even just counter what they're heading at in terms of heading the big game.
Yeah, I agree to that. Block the momentum and stop the task force RSG if you're TNC. But what are our other keys to victory? Midnight. You know the thing. Say something smart.
That's Yuzhong. No, I'm joking. Now, TNC and RSG, they are in a very tight spot here because they are kind of in contrast with each other. Now, to be able to win against each other, they need to follow these keys to victory brought to us by Infinix Note Series ultra-fast gameplay. Now, for TNC, they have to capitalize on RSG's slow-paced gameplay. We've seen how RSG is able to play. They always try to choke out on the objectives, but they follow a path line. What I mean by that is RSG, they rarely fight outside of objectives, and that just means the less aggression and less pressure against TNC, and it is something Ben thinks and the gang can actually capitalize versus RSG. Now, on the opposition, it's quite the opposite. It's the contrary to the TNC's burning early game. Slowly burn TNC. Yes, you might get early game pressure. You might be able to get the momentum. You might be able to establish a lead. But again, playing the objectives along the lines of the game, you'd be able to choke TNC out and come out as the victors in the late game. As the Raiders, again, the task force RSG is just too much to handle in terms of objectives. Now, for both sides, the roamers are the star players here. Benthinx and Light, they have to play their signature style of play. It might be coming down from a Franco pick, a Kufra, we don't know, maybe even the Angelas or the Rafaelas, but for sure, would see Mathilda in this series. Again, those were the keys to victories here for TNC and RSG, brought to us by Infinix Note Series.
You know what? I am so used to seeing Light just do a stare down with the camera, that I was freaked out seeing Light with his eyes closed. I'm not used to it.
We are not used to it. And to think that he has the longest record on who has the stare down holder in time here in MPL Philippines.
He's still
Man, I hope at some point we have a stats for that because
Yeah.
I'm really hoping for that.
He's resting his eyes.
He's resting his eyes.
How is this possible?
How can he keep his eyes closed for
By
so
the way,
long?
that's Ben things. That's not Kyrie.
Oh, thank you that you had to point that. Yeah, I saw that. I thought it was another thing where it's it says Bentings, but that's obviously Kyrie.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Thank you for
clarifying.
A very smart way to see.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for
our
the
analyst.
clarification. So I think all throughout, the theme is set. It's very clear. It's the two roamers. It's gonna start with them. It's gonna start with their rotations. But other than the two roamers here, who's one player from each team? Let's start first with RSG. And we mentioned Nats earlier, so let's take out Nats also. Another player from RSG who is gonna be the X factor for their team.
I think one thing also that stood out for me from RSG's games is Nats, and he was using the Paquito, he's back using the Edith, even the Arlet, no matter how it changed throughout the patch. So I think with Nats' instincts and how mechanically gifted as he is, I think it's still a game changer for the XP lane to even watch out for.
It's really nasty, and it's really nasty.
Yeah, it's really Nats, you know. You can't take out Nats. But for me, I'd say Irad. Yeah, because you have King Kong, TNC, who uses assassins. Yeah. If ever TNC pulls out an assassin, I mean, that could mean, you know, TNC giving a challenge to RSG. And we all know Irad, he loves pulling out those Fannies and the Lancelots.
Yeah, okay, so you mentioned King Kong. Is he your X factor for TNC?
He's my X factor for TNC. For RSG, it's Irad.
Okay, so it's the junglers for you. Here we are in the draft at midnight. You're right. We're going to be seeing Mathilda here,
Yeah,
but again, she's always getting banned.
Yep, that's what I mean, you know, that's how you know. That's how you know. TNC, they removed the Edith, so this is gonna open up like a lot of heroes on the first and the two picks for RSG. For example, the Fredden most likely will be taken out. The Baksha is open, the Valentina is open, and also the Paquito will also be taken during the first three picks, I believe. Yeah.
The Paquito has been a great option for Nats in most of their games, and also from recovery on how they went through their days in the midterms in MPL Philippines. I think that way of seeing that TNC sometimes capitalizes on their comfort picks on the marksman, the Paquito's presence alone with Nats is just a nightmare to see even for team fights.
And I don't think we've actually seen a lot of them. We haven't seen Jesus bring out a Paquito. Maybe just once. Usually it's the Terizlas or when he gets his hands on it.
the X-Borgs, the
Yeah.
Edith.
And I'm actually surprised that the TNC were the ones to take out the Edith. But I think they're also respecting the fact that RSG could first two pick it on the red side.
What if TNC pulls out a Yuzong on their side?
Ooh.
On first pick,
I mean, if you could argue that it could be picked on the the first base like two picks on the blue side, but again, RSG they have the chance, they have the opportunity of just getting it over the Paquito. But I think if you're Coach Panda, you might not even be considering about the Paquito and the Yuzong being in the first two picks. You can consider it in the third pick, so that you could see whether you are required to pick that. Because most of the times we see Paquito against Bruno. Most of the time we see Yuzong, it's against a Nirato.
Yes. And most of the time, you see this guy getting first pick.
It's not most of the time. Like it's 98% of the time.
Almost always he's there.
maybe they're sticking to their guns this time. Last night they were even forced to pick the Fanny from TNC. It wasn't even good for their own play style. So maybe they're just sticking in a way that they can actually sustain team fights because RSG's ratio on how they do things, it's kind of a bit deadly. So with this kind of start, I think they're just slowing things down.
There's one pick I want to throw out there that we have to watch out for that Onyx has played to great success. The Lilia might actually be a factor here. We've seen Aqua pick that before, like way back, like S10 era, even S9. And then maybe even Goyo can pick it up, but of course RG will pick up the Valentina Bruno.
I like this. The Valentina Bruno. Again, the Valentina covers a lot of bases in your draft. Like, even if TNT snatches up the Yuzong, you could still argue that RSG has their own version of the Yuzong. Because she can just steal it, and now you pick up the Bruno. You're forced to either go Irithel or Brody against this one. Because I don't think you're comfortable playing any marksman into this lane.
No, you don't, especially with the Bruno nowadays. Oh, it's a strong.
He hurts, man.
He hurts.
He hurts.
I don't like those.
The 30 damage
soccer
nerf,
balls.
you don't even feel it.
No.
Yeah.
In the pro scene, I think it's not a factor for them.
Yeah.
It just keeps on working in their own favor.
You know what, TNC? If they pick their marksman now, I would be quite surprised. They can actually play for the second phase. TNC play and pick up a Cho and the Faramis.
I don't like this.
Oh, Midnight. I can feel it.
I don't like
Hear
this.
your
I see the
displeasure.
I see the Minotaur coming up from light. I see the Minotaur or the Atlas.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, we
Wow.
haven't seen my boy for a while.
Hey, we haven't seen Franco yet.
The thing is, you could even pick it second. Because now I'm seeing either Paquito or Yuzong again getting picked up, and then Coach Vanda baiting out the Irithel or the they go for the Tristan instead. Okay, good answer versus the Paramis, and that covers Jesus Hero as well. So what's left is the export.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if RSG says, nope, we're going to take that out.
Bats it out, right?
Yeah, straight up just batting. Quick look at the index right now, comparing the draft so far of the two teams.
Oh, interesting.
Wave
Wave clear is much higher on the side of RSG. So that just means that, early game, again, is going to be a problem for TNC because these conversions are just going to be a little more harder compared to what it used to be.
Yeah, for TNC Pro Team, they're relying on their own strength as well with objectives. So in terms of their data back then, so it's just their start for success in the early stages. So if actually from their matches yesterday, if they lose that window, sometimes it's a bit of a struggle to go moving forward, and they need to answer a lot of problems along the lanes.
Okay, so RSG are going to take on the Irithel.
They are forcing out the Brody.
Yeah.
Because that's why they pick up the Trisla. Brody is just a walking marksman. He has no dash apart from the stun with the second skill. You can reposition.
Technically, Midnight, when he does use his basic attack, he floats.
Dashes. Okay.
He floats.
Okay. Pointing.
Levitating.
My point is, if you're a Brody and you get penalty zone, you cannot walk outside of the penalty zone. You have to flicker out.
Yeah, you're penalized. It's hard.
Yeah, you're penalized.
That's hard.
Yes, that's a lot.
Yep.
TNC Pro Team will take out the Joy, by the way.
Interesting.
Respecting the possibility that
Irad,
RSG might go, Irad with the Joy.
So it's a good respect as well. Funny thing though, Eve is not Eve. I think Eve is totally forgotten.
Yeah, Eve's dead. No, I'm just kidding. No. You have matches that are quite okay for Eve, but as of the moment, saving cores are like the utmost priority of the supports.
So I'm gonna add her to the forgotten list for MPL season 12.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Along the Claude list.
Yeah, count him in. Because yesterday we saw Innocent even pull out the Claude, and that's one of the Oheb.
Yeah.
Also, mostly they have this favorite hero, signature heroes that gave them wins, but this time it's a challenge on how to pull things
There you
off. And also the Xborg respect there for the XP. So shortening out heroes as well for Hesu.
Yeah, what's left, man? Like
Lapu.
If you look at the pool of TNC, Lapu. But I would consider, again, Yuzong.
Oh, yeah, you're right,
Yuzong for TNC. I mean, we haven't seen much from Hesu, but I want to see heroes like Yuzong, Glue, heroes that actually can deal with the Bruno. I like this sticky ban, however. It does tell us that they might
super crazy theory here. What if TNC's thinking of picking up a, what's that guy name again? All right, Mincetar in the XP lane.
Oh, Mincetar.
Okay, they're known for the surprise picks.
Yeah.
At some point, it's only TNC could actually pull that off.
Oh my goodness,
So,
that hoodie is sexy.
Something is up with our EXP laners today. All of them
right.
with the hoodies on.
Yeah, it's not just that, it's also Hesu.
Hesu.
Right.
I want to be an XP laner right now.
Trisla has a skin, right?
Does he? Yeah, one of his skins, he has a hood.
He has a hood, yeah.
Let me check.
Minotaur, let's go.
Perfectly
There you
called
go.
there, Midnight. For those of you watching from home, Midnight just stood up, raised two of his arms up in the air, and
It was
then
a
sat back down.
It was a perfect pick. It was the perfect pick.
Yeah.
Like, for TNT, what do you do? Like, this Joe can't play into the Minotaur. He can't play against the Trisla. The only option that he has is a flicker kick against the Bruno. But what if Bruno gets purified?
Yeah. This is so much. I'm going to use the ultimate of Terizla. This is just so much CC, and everything here from Minotaur and Terizla is a combined ultimate penalty zone. If you step in a quadrant or
That
even
is true.
in a circumferential
They have 6
state,
penalty zones, by the way.
Yeah, everyone's just going to be jumping up and down. That's what you're going to be seeing here.
5 seconds of you just jumping up and down.
Yeah, that's why that TNT...
There you go, the glue.
They pick up the glue. I guess
I'm on fire today.
carry.
Oh yeah, man.
Nice.
I'm on fire today. Lancelot, let's go.
Lancelot, yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. You're up against a Faram.
Yeah, that's gonna struggle, bro. The Martis is still open.
Yeah, Martis. I'd say Guinevere is fine.
Oh, the Gwyn jungle, right? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
an option for RSG.
The Guinevere is fine because your main priority here is to be a annoyance or a little, you know, what's that called? Thorn in the neck.
Yeah.
For the carry. You just jump in and out, in and out.
Yeah, not just a thorn on the side, a thorn in the neck. That's
Yeah.
how annoying you want to be.
The carry can't play.
Yeah, and that way, that increases I think the idea behind the RSG lineup of let's make them jump.
Unless they want to go Akai here.
Everyone's just gonna be jumping. Oh, Akai, I would be okay with the Akai.
Oh!
Midnight!
Oh!
Midnight!
I just said it.
My dude, you are on fire!
Somebody give this guy 3 more calls. On our screens, King Kong and as well as Irad. While Benzing is looking for vision. Early, that's a flicker out from Nats, and this is Algo doing the tag team. Hesu falls down to first blood, but Nats secures the point, and RSG gets the kill. And also Goya for the response. Will he be the one to fall down with the follow-up? Look at the spam in the pool. The response. RSG's on a great start today, ladies and gentlemen.
That's what we meant when there's a lot of heavy hitters on the side of RSG. Like, they deal insane amounts of damage in the early game.
Yeah, I think OSX and I felt the same thing here when we saw that duo breaking out. We were probably both thinking, yeah, that Terizla's going to win it. As people who love picking up the Terizla for the longest time. And that just looks so good for RSG. A little bit of a questionable decision there by TNC. Anything interesting about our emblems?
Tenacity and firmness on carry against Bruno, just to make sure that you survive early game. This has been theory crafted for quite some time now. Like, people are trying to make carry a tank in the early game, but Aqua though, mid lane.
Oh, receives the appraisers. Rat King Kong secures the kill. TNC on a 3-man rotation in mid. Thought about pressure here for the Phoenix Army right on the game.
Wait, that's what we were talking about since yesterday midnight. We like it when we see TNC playing fast, playing aggressive. Just be a little bit more calculated, but that was the right call.
Yep. TNC is, I feel like at this point, they're quite happy with the way that the game is pacing right now. It's a little quiet on the side of RSG as well. Innocent already is dealing with the Bruno well enough. Like, he has leg plates, so they don't need to care about a golden at all for TNC.
Well, speaking of goal, it's the first objective of the game. Who gets this first hand? And King Kong
goodness!
secures the tournament. No, Nats has been immobilized, but that's another round being activated by RSG. Now, Nats has been silenced, been taunted, and Goya takes him down. TNC on the chase, trying to take it out. That's the stun. That's the way of the dragon, and serving up the kill right onto King Kong. TNC secures the kill. Thought up a great start. Yep, they flickered. Right, went back with the grab. He pulls his hair back to the 4 members of TNC, and he goes down right in the hands of Hesu.
Is this the TNC Express midnight?
I mean, we're seeing a different TNC. They definitely are rising from the dead, leading by 1k gold. Again, this is the consequence of not having to deal with the gold lane. You have the firmness, you have the tenacity on the carry, you leave Innocent B with the Bruno, and you show up with 4 heroes inside the jungle of RSG. By the way, King Kong was on point with the Retribution. Inat kind of messing it up a bit. It was a little bit too early, and TNC went for the punish.
Yeah, punish, taunt onto light, forcing everybody from RSG to respond. respond. Goyo with the Stampede, looking for a way to pull 2 members out of RSG. Still sustained and got that orange. Irad secures his food right on to the first 4 minutes of the game.
Okay, so TNC once let's see what they're gonna do next after they get that orange buff on forward to the Fredrin. But look at this, Goyo and Ben things together. They've just been a 2-man hit squad rotating. And for me, Goyo is now the missing piece to complete the TNC puzzle.
Yeah.
Everyone seems to have finally woken up, finally risen. Goyo needs to step up even more here, because when he does, TNC will finally be at full power.
Yep, it has been a talk of the town. Like, the support on the side of TNC is a little bit lackluster, especially on aggressive heroes. Now that he's holding onto the promise, the main job of the Goyo right now is to just make sure that they are able to sustain the team fight with another realm, and of course, catch enough targets on the side of RSG while maintaining the protection for the carry.
Yeah, and we saw this yesterday when Goyo... Oh, an outplay! That's gotta hurt.
Wow, Ammon using those hits, and it took down Innocent. Second turtle of the game is up.
That was a purified bait.
From TNC right on 4. Benthics is on a target. Irad have it on half HP. Now continuing the charge. Hesu immobilized 1 to hold. That secures 1. Kiko secures a turtle as well. Now TNC with a great way of picking up their objectives. Looks like RSG's more hungry to counter them down.
You have to address this Bruno though. Like, it's not just enough to take these turtles, because Eman has been winning, dominating even the carry matchup, even considering that Innocent has been able to kind of like nullify some of the early game pressure from the Bruno with the adjustments on the emblem and the items. But Eman, after 5 minutes, he's gonna start taking towers.
Yeah, that was a punishing swing at the most unfortunate time.
Exactly.
That Innocent experience.
That was the purified bait. Like, this is how you... No.
It's beginning.
No, you have 0% win rate on that.
Recall right away, and King Kong used the Appraiser's Rat to take down that cram.
Okay, just we're on the goal. We're on the goal between the Bruno and the carry. That's the difference. But still, it's a Bruno. It is a Bruno still.
And we don't talk about Bruno. Yep, he hurts. I completely forgot the line I wanted to dish out with my old setup there. But now RSG Philippines, let's see what they can do to temper the rotation TNC has been bringing out. They have a very slight lead, but it is a very close game.
Aqua slowly walking to the traps. Shadow Stampede pulled him in. Goyo received some spams out of RSG. Terrified, looking for some security out of his own turret. RSG Philippines was trying to see some way of taking down 2 there.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, down bottom, we have a clear from Irad as well.
Yeah, that looked like really good sense by the side of TNC. It's like Goyo and Ben thinks had a strong feeling that someone was there and they just baited it out.
Yeah, by the way, we've seen XP cuts. We've actually seen Gold Date cuts. We've never seen a jungle cutting an XP wave.
Yeah.
Irad was cutting XP wave when that happened.
Interesting. But look at here, Hesu now just continuing the pressure onto the purple side buff of RSGPH.
Yeah, Hesu alone up against 2 to contest this purple. He goes away, he goes with a poke. But that secure of a purple goes to Irad. Slowly wanted to take more turtle up against TNC.
Yeah, I'm starting to get a feeling that TNC will really need to watch out for a massive setup here by Light. Gotta be careful.
This is just too slow for RSG. Like, they're putting Eman here while Innocent is just farming away. Well,
Light with the charge, that's the stop, knocking out 1. That is Goyo, use the Nether Realm. Now it's fight all over this objective. Now with the puncture, Iran's looking for a way to take down 2. Take down 3. Now they're on a chase, looking for an avenue. King Kong still safe. RSG still looking for a chance up against CNC, but they completely disengaged. The Phoenix army still lives. They have secured the turtle. The Raiders secured the turtle, and they're on a roll here, completely going in mid.
Goyo, good thing he had that flicker. And he used it at the right time. It really looked like it was going to get taken out. But good sense as well to bring out that Nether Realm. And good on the side of TNC to avoid, again, the big setup that Light almost got there. But at the end, it was just a win on the Retchy side by Irad.
Yeah, I was saying that RSG were playing too slow. They were playing like patient. Yeah. I like it because it's fundamental. But TNC was just getting too much resources on the carry. But then Light initiated. He was like, nah, we're not patient. We're playing aggressive right now. We want this turtle and we want a team fight.
Yeah. You know what I like it? I like it when players, even though there's no clear lead whatsoever, they just trade TPs. It feels good to see. It's like they're speaking without using words.
Yeah,
it's like a TP trade.
It's a form of communication.
Yeah,
it's a cultural exchange.
Cultural exchange. I like it.
Well, it looks like Hess is going to be the exchange Hughes, the ultimate. Look at the damage. Hesu connects to Light. He might get pulled here. Light is receiving so much damage. He's slowly being immobilized, but Ira looking for a way to bear the back lines of TNC. Now he goes. Targets Innocent, but that's the way of the Dragon Fall from Ben Thanks. Thor grows. Punisher connecting to Innocent. Still safe. Irad, look at him. Look at him go. He's slippery and he's safe. RSG with an attempt to take down Innocent from the back line. TNC still safe.
This is an aggressive peel coming out from RSG. They didn't even need Bruno. Knots just jumped in onto the Paramis right there, and he was forced to use the Nether Realm. And then TNC after that, they backed off after the Cult Altar was exhausted, as they didn't have any protection for Innocent.
Yeah, it was a great team fight bait out there by RSGPH. Dare I say, that was a great effort by King Kong to protect Innocent as much as he could. Those stunts and those knockups he dished out was big.
Oh, Pentix.
Wow, he just dove in the pit by himself. But Irad here sees some target. That's the way of the Dragon. Used for
Penalty
safety.
zone!
Penalty zone on the three. It's go time for RSG to take down Ben Thanks. No setup, no counter, but Ammon secures one. Innocent is down as well. RSG's eyeing to take this third, but Hesu is going to be in trouble. Torn Rose connecting to Ammon secures a double right away for RSG. Now, wow, it's just 3 members out of TNC, and they're stealing this orange right out. Again, the Phoenix Army Midnight.
RSG slowly burning TNC's early game, even though we've seen fantastic rotations coming out from the Phoenix. It's just the slow and patient objective takes of RSG that converts into these punishes. It kind of feels like RSG is workshopping TNC right now. This is how you win fights after objective.
Worldy. Oh, that hurts. Connecting. One more time. The ball hits so much. Ben Things falls down. And the Nether Realm is not yet ready for the resource save for TNC Pro Team, and RSG on the lead. Looking for a way here.
Oh man, earlier it was now. Wait.
That's the taunt and the knockup. RSG's looking for a defense right onto Esu, but now he pulls back, looking using a split Smith, but Ammon keep pushing down bottom with the ball. TP exchange once again up top, and it's a complete showdown here. That is the trade, that is the culture.
Yeah, that's them saying, great showing so far, lads. Hell of a game.
Great show. So that is how they do it. Ammon is low on mana though. He's still kicking some balls right onto the turret here. So this TNC looking for defenses. Man, the damage of Ammon right now hits so much.
Yeah, earlier it was nasty with that penalty zone, and now it's a man of the hour. Midnight, what can TNC do?
I mean, at this point, you have the turtle, right? You have to wait for a mistake that could come out from RSG. But look at the punish. Like, how do they actually do that? Because the thing with TNC is that the way they initiate is they wait for RSG to actually come in. Either that, or you use the flicker on the show. But then again, who's your target? There is a Purify on Eman. And Ben thinks he has to wait for the flicker, and he has to wait for the perfect position.
Speaking of initiation, Hesu goes right in front enemy lines. Now RSG is looking for a way to disengage, but Ben thinks on the side, looking for an angle. He uses away for a kick, but he fails. But Gona takes down Eman. The base! Come on to the base! Still open. You're looking for a way to end this game. Showdown with King Kong. 1v1. Here comes Hesu to the rescue. And it's done. RSG secures game number 1.
They did it again. Yesterday, a man of the hour, and now that was Irad. Split push. Yet again, RSGPH takes game number 1, and this winning moment is brought to you by our official sponsor, FWD Life Insurance.
That was just ultra fast.
Oh, yeah. That was Obs Gaming.
Even the
Obs, bro.
Obs, bro. All Obs, bro.
Okay, that is a complete example of a slow burn. And TNC was gaining the lead back then in early game. And RSG's like, okay, starting the fight here, slowly, and it just happens to them really quickly.
OBJ, full objectives for RSG. Even not caring about a team fight at all, like not going in with penalty zone in the last seconds of those team fights. And RSG, they were backing off, but Elon was like, why are you there? Tower's here, right? Wrong direction, victory.
Yeah, hell of a call by RSG to completely read that situation, where it's just like, hey, Irad, just go there, please. Just end the game. You have a minion wave. Just do it. Can't believe it.
He had all the support that he needs to end the game by himself.
Yeah, teams are starting to see here. This is one of the key things for, by the way, teaser for something that will be released in MPL Philippines pages soon. Split pushes, you gotta watch out for that. But now it's time to watch out and listen to our analyst Midnight to break down that game. Say something smart.
Well, smart play definitely coming out from the jungler of RSG Irad with the X Factor play won the game for the Raiders against TNC. Again, full objective takes, or the FOT, coming out from RSG. They were really just keen and focused on focusing these towers down, making sure that they follow through in the game plan with the turtles, the towers, the lords. And it came to a point where Irad didn't even have to show his mechanics on the Lancelot, as what he needed to do was take out the pace of TNC. Of course, you'd see the Lancelot rock out the Assassin Emblem with a killing spree, but have you ever seen a Lancelot rock out a blade armor just to make sure that he has enough sustainability and tankability on the side of RSG, because he is dashing in front of the lines of TNC, and he just needs to make sure that he gets out alive. He just needs to make sure that he's able to sustain these physical damages that will come out from TNC. Early game, however, RSG punished heavily TNC when they tried to go for the XP clear with the XP and support. After that, they found a very good kill in Aqua in the mid lane, and this is where we saw the strive of the Phoenix, the early game aggression that we were looking for. And King Kong was able to out-retreat Irad in the first turtle take against RSG, and that was kind of like the starting point for what could have been the late game transition and conversion for TNC. But again, looking at the composition of RSG, they have fantastic mid game. As we all discussed earlier on, they just have so many heavy hitters on their side. Yes, you take out a lot of the heroes in the early game, but when we get the items, when we get the XP, and when the Bruno is up and running, we will group up and we will win team fights. That is the main story of this game. TNC, they were able to capitalize kind of like the early to mid game pressure that they had, but when the team fight came in, like with the ults coming out from Light, with the Minoan's Fury, the damage from the Bruno, the penalty zone, the punishes from Nats as well with the flicker plays, forcing out the Netherrealm, allowed RSG to not care at all about the physical and the magical damage aspect of TNC, because again, looking at their composition, it's all about late game. TNC, they were playing the scale. And one problem that TNC had was that they had no answers. They had no tools against RSG. They can't even fight directly into RSG because of the fact that they went with a show. And as we mentioned earlier on, that is really going to be really hard to fight into Light. And after that, it didn't even end up with a team fight victory for RSG. Irad just took out the base of TNC and slapped the win on game number 1. And we're going to be seeing the emblems here. Again, I want to point out, Innocent, very smart decision here to go for the sort of like an early tank setup for the carry, just to make sure that he is able to sustain the lane against Eman, a heavy-hitting gold leader, by the way, in the form of the Bruno. And even though TNC was able to capitalize on this trick, come to mid-game, when the towers didn't have any shields, Eman was able to take down Innocent with a Purify bait play, as it removes these stacks coming out from Innocent. The carry was not able to deal true damage, and Eman was able to take out the carry at that moment. After that, it transitioned into tower pushes. And RSG, after that, they never relinquished control, especially with the damages coming out from RSG, the Ascalon, the Berserk's Fury, and the Malefic Roar. These 3 items are all you need on the Bruno to be able to hit hard against TNC. Even though there is a blade armor as well on King Kong, as long as RSG is able to punish both Goyo and Innocent and maybe force out the Netherrealm, it's not gonna matter, because King Kong at the end of the day will just be a distraction for RSG to deal with. Looking at the team fight participation here, you'd see Eman, Aqua, and Nuts sitting at 75%. All 3 of them had the same KDAs all throughout for RSG, because of the idea that they just grouped up. You know, when they had a power spike, they grouped up, and Eman dealt 30% of the team's damage output, 55.6 out of the 166k. That was how just big this Bruno is for RSG. That's why TNC cannot fight, because he was rocking the Purify battle spell, and after that it was all just RSG raiding the base of TNC, even with Irad, slowly taking the base, literally slowly burning the Phoenix and getting the win on game number 1.
You know what, behind the scenes, OSX and I were talking about something here. By the way, Midnight, thank you for the analysis.
So smart.
Yeah, so smart,
Thank
as
you.
always. Wherein, we've noticed something about TNC. They seem to keep getting surprised at the most unfortunate times.
Yeah, the picture is a deer in headlights.
Yeah.
They were doing good early game, and you asked me about the situation if TNC would be aggressive or just play passively.
Yeah.
And we saw that in the early game, but when they caught up in the worst scenario, they were unable to react right away.
Yeah, and eventually those balls on those Brunos started to hurt even more, as Midnight put it. MPL Season 12 is also live on Smart's live stream app. Watch your favorite MPL teams battle it out and don't miss on any of the epic power plays. Download the Smart live stream app now, available on your device's official app store. Yeah, TNC Pro Team just need to stop keep getting surprised. They keep getting surprised. It's like they forget that out of the structure of what we expect team fights to go as, usually they fall prey to either XP laners or maybe surprises from the opposing roamers. We saw that yesterday against Blacklist International. And some of their biggest losses come from the fact that after them controlling it, suddenly here comes a big play out of nowhere and then everything crumbles for TNC. Why does this constantly happen, Midnight?
I'd say, fundamentally speaking, TNC's mid game is just weak. Like information gathering, vision control, targeting, target selection, and also, I would say, some of the spell casting. Because again, we saw earlier when Nuts went in with the punish, the promise was showing. Hezzy could have just been, zoning out. RSG providing vision, but he showed himself towards the Minotaur, and Nuts saw that the promise was going near the glue, and he went in with the penalty zone. And you didn't even need to do that, because again, the main objective of the game for TNC, especially in mid game, was to just protect, cover, be able to force reactions outside from RSG. But if you put yourselves in positions like that, these are punishes that RSG will be able to see, like Nuts going in, forcing out the Netherrealm, suddenly renders your lineup like moot.
Yeah. You gotta watch out and respect the abilities of your opponents and make sure your abilities as well, you have them prepared. And again, this seems to be a trait that is shared with them and Manana Evos, wherein they can have a great early game, but then at some point in the mid game, for some reason they don't look fully comfortable, or they just forget some certain very important things. And that's also something that was evident with Onyx PH at the start, but once they solved that, that's why they're on a streak. That's why they're going on a roll. So this is now the biggest point to pin on for TNC Pro Team, is that gotta fix that mid game, because we can see the early game is there. We've seen them try to claw back from being behind and find a way to turn it around, so they can do comeback plays as well. But when you're in the lead and comfortable in the mid game, it's a head scratcher, and honestly, getting to the point of frustrating, because you feel the player's frustration.
Yeah.
Ben Finks has been open about his frustration, and he's getting to the point of sadness already on social media, where recently he posted like, how to win, because we get it, dude, you guys have been so close every time.
Yeah, but you also have to go back to the draft, right? Like when they picked up the Cho, it was so obvious that good teams will pick up Minotaur there. Why not ban it?
Yeah, they have great counters, but if they rely on, I don't know, if they went for comfort, maybe that could be a strong thing up against RSG. But as Midnight analyzed that draft, it was also a struggle on how to even approach the Minotaur, and most of the resources were drained out quickly.
Yeah.
Even the Netherrealm, you've mentioned it a lot of times, it was miscasted.
Yeah.
Most of the time, and Hez was looking for a way to zone out backline, but it was answered by RSG. They have answers from front, mid, and end. And it was a problem.
Here's the thing, like if you look at TNC, they understand early game pressure. They understand jungle control.
Yeah.
They understand playing Ube first 2 minutes. But then suddenly you look at the 4-minute mark, you start seeing some cracks in their gameplay. People that are not supposed to show, they're showing in the map. Gold laners, instead of trading, they're actually trying to fight into the turtle when it's not timing. Like we saw Innocent earlier participate in the second turtle. And you'd ask the question, why? You're a carry. Go to the opposite side of the map. If you watch Super Marco play carry, he doesn't give a damn about turtle. Like, you guys play turtle, I'm playing, objectives. I'm playing double waves.
Yeah, and it's very surprising, because if you go back to the past TNC Pro Team, especially, let's talk about again the TNC Pro Team of MPL Philippines Season 9, where they reached 4th place. That's one of the things they were really good at.
Yeah.
That map control.
Jungle control, pressure, even drafting.
Yeah, that's that's why at one point I made a joke that people cringe at, and I'm bringing it back. TNC stood for totally nice control, because they totally controlled games.
That's a great point.
That's actually good. That's actually
TNC,
Totally nice control, because I don't actually know what TNC means.
It's a
right.
I actually didn't know what it means. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it.
Okay, we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there.
But it is a nice point to ponder.
Yeah.
The control, where is it? Can they channel it back? Can they pull a page back in?
Yeah,
Because that was the struggle again, over and over.
exactly. Control. Okay, so that's TNC side, and I think at this point we've talked about and dissected TNC enough. And I think this is the most, how do I say this, blunt we've been.
Yeah.
When it comes to discussing the struggles of TNC Pro Team, and at the same time, they've been very open about their frustrations already as well.
Because at this point, I think it's kind of warranted, like, to let people know, and even TNC know, that there are lapses in their gameplay. There are lapses in the draft. There are lapses in how they treat these conversions, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like you really have to go back to the drawing board. Like, maybe, you know, we have player swaps, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you can start from there, start changing the environment, start changing the synergy, because at this point, TNC, if they're not willing to change anything, I think they'll be stuck for for a very, very long time. But again, if you're planning on sticking to the same thing, at the very least you have to be correct, you have to be precise with drafts, with shot calls, with objectives, because you are precise in one thing, and that's the most important thing in this meta. Early game pressure is the most important thing in this current match, and they're doing so well. They just need to convert it.
Yeah.
Convert, translated to success. I get what Midnight is pointing out here, because he believes on the capability of these players as well.
Yeah, we all do.
I dare say they're the best here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, and how in the potential that we're talking about the players of TNC right now, we just need them to actually see the possible way of ending the game from mid to late. And when they got a grip from that, I think it's a good way to even to stand a close fight and put this to game number 3. That's what's all this is needed.
Yeah. Okay, so TNC has what they need. Just again, going back to conversion and consistency. On the flip side, let's talk about RSGPH. Again, historically, they have that tendency of just having a lead swept from under the rug away from them, losing it out of their hands. Minana, someone who's known and has worked with Coach Panda in the past, what's one of the biggest points of improvement for RSG in terms of them not losing control of the game?
I would say them not overthinking games, because RSG is at their peak when they're not trying to like think of, oh, what if they pick this and we lose on this, or what if we do this and they do this. They're best if they follow the recipe, the fundamentals that they've been taught to play their plays around objectives. That's peak RSG. That's why we call them Task Force RSG, right? Like when they see an objective, they assemble, they know how to win, and they don't let go of it. And I think there are games where we see RSG kind of like fall off when they overthink matchups, overthink early game, overthink turtles, overthink trades. And I believe, for me, we haven't seen that actually from RSG. Like from the past 2 games of RSG, that is something that they might have been able to fix.
I agree. I think back then in Season 9, I even remember what Coach Panda said, that since they were up against Blacklist International that time from Season 9 to 10, at some points, they were overthinking their capability. And that's one thing that really throws a team off. Instead of relying on your own strengths and remembering what got you to this point, I think that's one factor to even dwell and put that as a strength to translate into success. But if they just stick to the right recipe and to the right comfort, even in their own team fights. Heck, we even saw Minana, we even questioned Minana's win back then, that how will this draft that is so focused on team fight would work against a fundamental team that has covers on all sides of the index.
So you're saying RSG should focus on the right, while TNC should focus on the left?
Oh man, that what a throwback. I did not see that coming. If you know,
you know. That's how you know. Wow. That's how you know, bro.
I just pulled up a gear right there.
Yeah, man. I was like, I almost fell off our little platform here. Almost rolled off of our secret lab chairs. Okay. RSGPH. I agree with you guys there that tendency to overthink and hesitate. Usually before when we call RSGPH games, and of course, those aforementioned situations where they're trying to end the game. By the way,
That's Ben things.
that's Ben Thinks, right? Okay, because the crowd just made a lot of noise. For a second, I was like, wait, is that Kyrie?
He's like, Kyrie!
Yeah.
Kyrie!
Shout out to Mexico.
Yeah, we are just...
Napagbitaw mo ng mga skills. And in
G Power G, bro. It's like saying, you go, bro.
Yeah, for the
You
Indonesian,
do it.
For the Indonesian fans, it's like you're saying, go bang.
Go bang, yeah.
Yeah.
Go bang. That's it. That's the right translation because we're...
That is exactly what it means.
Yeah.
Go bang.
Go bang.
Go all in or go all out. It's...
Pare.
Yeah, because...
So what if go bang bang? Go play ML?
Go, yeah.
Go bang bang. Okay, nice.
Bang, bang.
Nice talk. Good
Yeah.
talk.
So how...
I love you guys.
All right,
Anyway, going back. We're just hoping for TNC to just rise back. Channel
I thought I heard rice bang.
That's possible too. TNC,
Rice bang, right?
Rice bang.
Rise bang.
Rice bang.
You go.
I'm done.
We can continue this. We can do this all day.
I mean,
We can do
yeah,
this
as
all
much
day
as
for
we
TNC.
can
We're
talk
rooting for
about,
you
like,
guys.
as much as we can talk about the game, right? Like, you still have to play the game for both TNC and RSG. And I mean, you could point out a lot of things that needs fixing on the side of TNC, but at its core, like, TNC as a franchise has been struggling for 3 seasons now.
Yeah.
And I feel like the wake-up call has been long overdue. Like it's it's not about the games anymore. It's not about like the errors that has been committed by the players. What needs to be done is like maybe a change of mindset, right? Like I don't know how they're gonna do that inside a series, but I feel like that's gotta be something that they need to do.
Oh, it's light and lighter.
Light bang.
Light bang.
Light
Yeah.
and lighter.
Yeah, but no, you're right there. The wake-up call has been long overdue. By the way, folks, oh, he let the glass.
Put it in.
No, I think it's too strong. I think
the grade.
Yeah, the lens grade of Coach Theo is too strong there.
Lighter.
Yeah. Look at him teleport from the floor to the stage in the speed of light. Oh, in the speed of light. And he's putting on a bag too and changing his jersey.
And changing his hair.
And changing the...
Growing his hair, getting it cut.
That's how fast it is. In the speed of light.
I can hear RSG cheer like, yeah, that's it. That's how you do cosplay.
Yeah, and all that from Indonesia to the Philippines.
Again. Sorry, that's Bentix.
Oh, that's Ben things. Every time it gets me.
Yeah,
By the way, folks, we're just receiving work.
RSG does play the Navaria, but TNC their first pick. Maybe this is just to open like a bunch of heroes that RSG couldn't decide on. But I feel like the Navaria ban is a little bit unwarranted from the side of TNT because it does open out like the Baksha, still the Fredrins, the Mardis, but TNC only gets one.
I'm thinking they might go for the Franco this time.
First pick?
No, somewhere in the first phase. It could. Because Light is also a monster of a Franco. So with the Navaria being banned out, I think that this lessens out the vision checks as well.
Yeah. Fredrin gets removed. The question is who gets Baksha, the most OP jungler of the current patch.
Yeah, but
That's no joke.
Yeah, that's true. We all agree.
Baksha shows up again. I'm not shy to say it. I have a lot of bias towards the Lilia. Super Prince absolutely tore
What
up
about-
a Baksha jungle as a Lilia.
Whatever happened with Valir?
Oh yeah, and Valir too.
He just took off like Naisu. Well, Naisu took off with Gord.
Yeah.
Valir, who took off with Valir?
Yeah, it fits better with the theme of TNC, with fire.
Fire,
but
yeah.
It's also that's great coverage with Rome.
You
Are
my fire, the one. All right, TNC gets Baksha.
Yeah.
Question is, do they pick it?
Do it, TNC, come on.
Because we've seen like picks like Akaja even already fall out into the second portion of the draft. Sometimes even like the next 2-3 picks, not first pickable as much. I agree with the Baksha pickup. It would not be surprising. It would totally be more than okay.
Yeah, I think you have to go for the Baksha, right? Like for TNC, I mean the trade for you wouldn't be too bad because RSG would always get Valentina either way, unless you first pick Valentina, but you're losing out on the Baksha.
Yeah, and at that point, I'd rather take the Baksha.
Are they willing to trade that though? Because we're seeing a great start here for TNC. Come on, Baksha, this is your chance. Oh, Lancelot.
There's still a lot of open to make this Lancelot struggle.
They're giving away the Baksha to RSG now.
Baksha, Valentina, Paquito, these heroes destroy the Lancelot.
Man, RSG is just doing a great grocery run right now.
I'm not going to be surprised if RSG gets Idrithel third pick, but I'm sure TNC is already eyeing at that Idrithel pick on their 2 picks. But RSG, again, you cannot ignore the fact that they can just pick either the Paquito Valentina or the Valentina plus maybe Baksha.
Yeah. I think we're all in agreement about the Baksha getting picked up earlier now. Unless they swerve things up, but Valentina, yeah, it's there. Oh, it's the priority.
Oh yeah, because they've already picked up the Lancelot, so there's no point in rushing things. Because even if TNC removes the Baksha, you still have the Martis, the second rotation of the picks. Even if TNC removes everything, like they ban Martis, and then the Baksha, you have a Guinevere or Irad, or even a Fanny.
There's so many things open for RSG right now. On the last 3 picks of the first phase of TNC, they can either secure their own roam here right away, or Kufra also is open. Franco is open.
I don't like any Bentings here, honestly. That is that just counters Bentings.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot.
It's not the hero anymore. It counters Bentings.
Yeah, because if you look at the hero pool, like the Kufra.
There you go.
Oh yeah. Promise again.
They want to keep it up. They want to keep up that tempo.
I'm feeling it, Midnight. What is it?
You get Bruno once again for RSG, and then you have to you kind of have to ban the Diggy for TNC. I think that's the right approach here, because if you don't, RSG might just pick it, you know?
Yeah, they rarely pick it up for light, but it has been an option in the past. It is still something they have to strongly consider. By the way, going into this day, the nearest in points to TNC Pro Team were RSG Philippines and Omega Esports, who were sitting at 8 points, TNC at 4. But with a win earlier, now the only one within in relatively close reach is Omega Esports at 8 points. So it's double the
hard.
points right now for TNC that they're behind.
Man, talking about keeping up.
Again, the Minotaur.
Oh, same thing.
Yeah.
Counter against Kufra, counter against Promise.
This is just the perfect answer to everything.
Yeah. I was thinking you could have picked up the gold lane, third pick for RSG, and then pick up the Minotaur, but they might have been considering TNC banning out the Minotaur themselves. But it does put RSG in a pedestal where you're forcing TNC to sort of like ban the marksman. But either way, you'd always win out on the side of RSG because you're getting last pick.
Difficult still. As we look at the draft index right now, of course, again, every time we show the draft index at this portion of the draft, it's only for the first 3 picks so far. And still both relatively close on all aspects, actually.
The priority of TNC over this Lancelot, they just eyeing for a great start for the objective, same as what happened to game number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and it's comfort.
Is that a guy playing ML?
Yeah, that dude is playing ML while watching MPL.
Talking about
Joy
experience.
ban. Interesting. They have a Faramis and they ban Joy. Now, you have to consider Martis or Baksha. Problem with TNC right now is that they let go of all the marksmen.
Yeah.
And RSG would always get a winning matchup. Like, if you get Bruno, they'll get probably Irithel. If you get Brody, they'd probably get Bruno. If you get Irithel, they'd probably get Bruno still.
It's surprising to me that RSG would actually respect the Harith here. But hey,
That's Nomad, right?
by the way, Nomad, if you're fans of MPL Philippines, since season 7, he's the back right now. He's on the backhand side.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's an AD.
Yeah,
He's
Mr.
an
Pineda.
Mr. AD.
Yes,
That's why Nomad.
Yes.
Nomad. One letter. He could have been Minana Evo's player.
Yeah, Reptar was like the inaugural.
But they are. There you go. Fanny band yesterday. So the Baksha. And then get, carry later on.
Okay,
Bruno.
so they're more prepared with the Baksha.
I don't think TNC's prepared for the Baksha.
They're just letting out a great pick here, because it's just we're just looking for a way for RSC to just tame things down a bit, but they're just relying on great comfort, and even great picks.
Unless call me crazy, I'm seeing Guinevere for Medad.
You're crazy. I'm kidding. You're not.
I am.
It makes a lot of sense.
I am a self-proclaimed crazy draft predictor.
It's good because if we look at Guinevere, you had a good game from that, and with the knockups, Violent Requiem,
Bruno.
In terms of setups, since everything that can come from the backline of TNC, I think that's a great way to initiate a fight.
By the way, this is essentially the same lineup for RSG.
Yep. The only thing different is that this time they don't have the Lancelot.
Yep.
That's it. That's the only difference. And the draft of TNC Pro Team, how they banned, reads to me as they're going to be picking up a draft wherein Innocent's going to be left alone in the back, and the rest of TNC are just diving forward.
Yeah, I think you're playing carry here. You have no choice. Carry Yuzong, carry Glue, carry Lapu. It's hard for TNC to sort of like find an XP lane for Hezzy to play with, especially up against the Trizla. Yuzong is sound, but again, we haven't seen much of the Yuzong coming out from... Oh, okay. There you go. Yuzong Irithel. I'm on fire today.
Man,
Guinevere or Baksha, just those two.
If this is Guinevere, I'm buying you coffee.
Yep.
Irad! Calling out to the player. Irad!
Yeah, I'm
Just
getting
straight
a
up
double
go to the
fudge.
stage. I want some coffee.
Yo, Panda! Panda, get me some coffee. Pick up the Guinevere.
Yeah, Guinevere sounds fine here. sounds really fire rather for RSG. Since with the U-Zone here being present as the Irithel, they could just freely jump.
Yeah.
Still the same thing for RSG. And with that, you can even divert everybody out of
I mean, you could
TNC's map.
You could also consider Martis because you are up against Kupra, but I want to see Crazy Heroes. I want to see Crazy Heroes. Give me some Guinevere. Don't give me Martis Baksha. Guinevere. There.
No crazy today.
Not getting your coffee.
Sorry, man.
Thank you so much, coach.
He went so fundamental there. Like I saw the Kupra, yeah, it's a Martis pick, but I wanted some Guinevere, you know. But looking now at the index here, DPS is much more powerful on the side of RSG, but late game, however, is a different story. As TNC, they are holding the advantage in terms of late game scaling.
Yeah, speaking of scaling as well, they have good isolation too. And to think that RSG right now would have more ways to counter early game against TNC, I think this might pressure for Ben Things to get greater vision as well as great coverage on where they're heading at.
Yeah, need more grounds to cover because you are running a lineup that depends on vision and depends on formation because Yuzong is not going to do that for you. Like, the way Knots plays it, yeah, it's kind of like the same thing. He initiates for his team, but because RSG is willing to fight, that's the thing that TNC needs to find balance with, like the amount of information on the front line, and also the the initiation coming out from either the Kupra or the Yuzong. Because the problem with this lineup is that nobody front lines.
TNC Pro Team, can they pull off a victory here and force game number 3? A much needed game number 3 to end the first half of the season at least with more hope. Meanwhile, RSGPH, can they do it again? Another sweep to end the first half of the season. And just like in game number 1, Nats and Aqua, a lot of pressure onto winning those trades, those duels.
Oh my
and
goodness.
They're gonna lose out on minions here.
Yeah, half HP right away to Hesu. He just completely was eyeing to go back
What
to the
happened
base.
there?
That's
Such a
heartbreaking.
disaster.
Heartbreaking start.
Okay. Let's take a look at the changes. Is there anything that spots different from the emblems, Midnight?
I mean, these are okay. Like emblem setups wise, it's okay. But I'm seeing like the Wilderness Blessing on Aqua. That's gonna help in terms of RSG contesting the jungle and moving around the river against TNC.
So speaking of moving around, King Kong really had a good advantage there to even escape. So this time around, it's just RSG doing with the pressure and push. Look at that. Down bottom, just keep on doing almost half on the gold out on the plating out of the turret.
Oh, XP lane has been completely decimated at this point. There's no other way to put it. Compromised.
Somebody has to walk over there.
Yeah, they need the help. You see Bentley's actually holding on to the minion wave as much as he could just to level it out for Hesu. But at this point, folks, Navs has won the XP lane less than 2 minutes in.
This is JEC, Jungle XP Control.
Yeah, JEC, wow. The check. The check of the game. JEC Jungle XP lane control by RSG on the lead, almost 500 gold against TNC. First turtle is up. Coverage wise, RSG had a great start, so they really want to contest this one early on. Would they though? Is this the right call for TNC to just do?
I mean,
despite the bad start.
This is not even level 4.
Yeah.
Like, how do you contest this? And you're up against a Martis.
Yeah, it's going to be way too difficult right now. This is going to be a free turtle for RSG. You can't contest out at this point. TT are going to need to recover. And actually, Nap just going in.
Well, just going in with the hammer.
way.
Breaking down Hesu's HP bars. He's down. He's out. First blood goes to RSG.
You saw it on the mini-map. He flicker, ultimate. And now King Kong is in dire straits. Look at RSG. They know it. They feel it. They've dominated the start of this game already.
Oh, TNC. Early game no longer in their favor, and even though they have a good late game, how are you going to cross over the mid-game spike that Eman will have on his Bruno?
Completely the fundamentals of a great start for RSG. And we're looking at pressure also in mid and up top. This gives out a lot of pressure for the roam to even have a great setup. Because as you said, there's no front line, but it benefits a lot. It's either a hit or miss for Ben Things. And also Goyas now has been peeled, by the way.
Yeah.
By Aqua. He's now forced to go back and just completely having a free reign over this minions. RS is just completing everything in their own first phase.
TNT, they're essentially playing 4 heroes here with one Petrify. Like one bonus Petrify. Yuzong is not not like a factor in this game. RSG completely shutting down the XP lane. Even if they like use nuts as kind of like a checkpoint there, even if they don't use it Rizla in the rotation for RSG, it's not gonna matter. Because what matters for RSG is them playing with the Bruno in the mid game. You blocking the Yuzong's capability in team fighting in the mid game allows RSG to sort of reach that point in a much faster pace.
And Tnc Pro Team, it's not impossible to come back from a situation like this. We've seen it in the past, multiple times here in MPL Philippines, but it is going to be difficult. It will need to take a lot of effort and some amazing, almost miraculous MLBB to take it. And Irad, to check that no King Kong is going to be able to secure his orange buff at the least.
Yeah, we've seen crazier things. We've seen impossible comebacks. And it's not a thing that we could take out against TNC, because if they see potential, off-cam
there you
kill.
go.
Speaking of which, that's Amman falling. Now, you were talking about not being dead in 4 minutes. How about that for TNC getting the first point here?
He got the clap back against Emman. The death of the Bruno. However, they're not going to be able to push as the turtle is in the gold lane right now.
Okay, you don't see it as
Kong. That's a jump from Ben Thing, who gets the objective here and secures the turtle. Now it's go time for TNC. Will they attack? Will they engage? But disengage for the Phoenix Army. Meanwhile, Goyo here looking for a way to pull with the Shadow Stampede. Back on his turret. Now back on the purple. RSG is looking for a way to take this out from TNC. Contention Knots and Ben Things though. Look at the zone out from RSG. Look at the Thorn Rose wheel to connect for the damage. Regardless of the orange, RSG secures and steals a purple out of TNC.
Playing like a raid boss here. The Trizla of RSG. Now they swap lanes. This is really important for TNC because now you are getting the farm on Innocent. However, they need to do more. They need to be able to shut down the upcoming spike of the Bruno.
The Tnc Pro Team, seems like every time they would find something, RSG clapping back right away. That Lancelot losing that purple buff hurts, especially after they were able to get a kill onto Emma. A great kill. To add to that, now RSGPs are just like, nope, we're not going to lose any ounce of control. We're going to get you right back. And let's see if, oh yeah, look at that. On the top upper left corner of your screens there, Naster stopping the recall of Jesus.
Oh, that's just so sad. Oh, another one falls. But that's just the Nether Realm doing the work. Bottom lane, still on the action. Innocent and Ben Thinks though, still on a way to secure and hold this turret. Yes, just going back to the story of this game, RSG still in the lead, but if you are a Lancelot in the King Kong, you don't want to lose those purples, don't want to lose objectives. But by this coverage, TNC is completely answering the team as RSG setting up.
Oh, nice.
Nice dodge.
Out.
Oh, still a safe way. That's a turret taken down by RSG.
Yeah, this is going to be really hard for TNC because guess what? There is a sustain coming up from Light, and the Blade Armor's already finished on Niran.
And Aqua, you barely see him bust out TPs. You know it's a great RSG game when Aqua's TPing on your face.
Yeah, it's a great start. And it signal using the Thorn Rose for the possible takedown. And that's the zone out that seems on doing. You're just putting pressure onto King Kong, stealing the purple right in his face. There's two members from RSG here who gets it. Irad secures the turtle while everything is going into chaos. No purple. But that is just the hog. That's the Titan's Rage connected onto one. That's the Peasant. That's the Sun onto Nats. Going back, looking for safety. Hassel to Black Dragon 4. Will it land? Will it sacrifice? Will this be the chance for TNC to go? That's on the Hatsu. And Light.
My goodness.
No setups, no faults, no takedowns. CNC looking for a chance there.
Hisu.
Oh, Mortal Coil and just a Decimate connected onto Hassel. He falls. RSG. Just turning things around slowly. On King Kong, just taking down the turret out of RSG.
Man, that timing on the Nether Realm from Aqua was disrespectful.
Yeah. I think, oh, you think you got nope?
I'm dead.
Nope. Again, if Aqua's TPing on your face and doing things like that, you know it's a good RSG game, and they are definitely feeling it.
Completely feeling it. Just taking down the first tier turret, exchanging TPs, and no defenses from their mid, and slowly being deteriorated.
Look at this. Again, this is why it's so hard to play Ben Things Heroes against Minotaur. Like, he just blocks every path you want to take, allowing Emma to take all towers. Took two, by the way, for RSG. Blade Armor is already complete on the Martis. Dominance Eyes up on the Trizla, and almost completing as well the Blade Armor, alongside the upcoming Blade Armor as well from the Minotaur.
It's gonna be
Massive physical defense for the side of RSG. And if you look at over on the composition of TNC, it's mostly physical.
Yeah, and they're taking their time to just keeps on doing the recall. And another purple stolen from King Kong.
Yeah, at this point, TNC are going to be looking for a miracle. A miraculous steal onto the Lord, RSG slipping, and then getting to the point where Goyo's dealing massive amounts of damage away. That Nats.
Bouncing ball connected onto Nats. They're trying to slow him down. Penalty zone on to 2. Now Nats is up against 3. Will he survive though? That's the nether realm.
goodness.
But he survives. Spellvap doing the work. Nats doing the manage and damage. Now looking for a way to hold this through. Hezu used to back and forth, possibly to escape RSG's takedown. They still live. But Nats is just completely a one-man army.
Yeah, man, that was an
RSG.
absolute Chad move by Nats. No other way to put it. That was just Chad moves.
Two ultimates were forced out by on TNC. And then now they have Lord for RSG Bentings.
Nobody can get closer. Ben thinks though he has the immortality. Nats now has been popped out at the last chance for taking back to safety. He still lived. That's
God,
another round, but Nats purely taking that kill out of TNC. Now RSG is putting up in the pressure. Continuing damage. Now the Lord's been taken by Eman and RSG all over the map. They've taken out of TNC and they've taken the objective. And this is not looking good for TNC.
Nats and Aqua, what they did at the start of this game in that XP lane, single-handedly won this for RSG. If ever RSG do finish it and actually complete the game and complete the win.
Again, Renmar 06, this is kind of like a similar story to what Omega faced yesterday, right? Like
Yeah.
it was Omega versus Nuts. Now it's TNC versus this damn Terizla of the Raiders.
Yeah, and they're up against Nats most of the time, doing all the work and positioning-wise, and the surprise factors of Nats, mostly with the penalty zone flicker, is a massive team-fighting initiation for RSG, and it just crumbles by the moment. Black Dragon form now being used by Hesu right on too early. Lord pushing down bottom, RSG looking for a way to clear. Eman and Ira securely takes down that turret. TP's right onto the base. 2 turrets left for TNC. How are they going to do this now? With no right recipes for damage and defense, they're just right into the mercy of their own base.
This is classic RSG that we're seeing. Can they? Will they? End it here, end it in a bit. What will RSG do? With the final nail in the coffin for the series. Oh!
Penalty zone on to 2, 4-star retreat back from TNC. Now it's the action being brought up from RSG. Silence, now they can't move away. Erad now taking down 1. Is on a killing spree. Erad takes down Irazel and Innocent, and Hesu is down. TNC with no damage left at the mercy of their own base. King Kong and Goyo looking for a way to end, looking for a way to hold and defend. Eman as well looking at kicking down.
What was that range? Oh my God.
Oh, Ben things from the back, looking for a way to set up now. He's trying to hold this through, and he goes down. Eman secures the point on RSG, looking for a way to take down King Kong. He falls, and a double for Eman, and that's it. The Raiders completely dominated TNC in 12 minutes.
No minions.
No minions, but there's still a way. There's still a way to hold, but can they completely end this raid quicker? Black Dragon 4 on the back line, connected on to Aqua, and it's done! RSG dominated the way out of TNC.
The Raiders are waking up, channeling their past success as champions of the Philippines and as champions of Southeast Asia. This winning moment is brought to you by our official sponsor, FWD Life Insurance, dominating in that game number 2, and in the sweep was RSG.
Talk about slow burn for TNC. They burned out. And again, early game, you ask yourself the question, what happened on the EXP lane? Like, they got frozen. They got, I don't know. Like,
At that scene, heartbreaking.
that was so crushing to see.
Yeah, a heartbreaking
The XP
match.
lane being freezed.
Yeah, in minute 1 to 130. Some people are probably thinking we're over